Hi, I'm Ronnie Larson. We are here with David Jobin of the Our Fund Foundation, and we're just going to talk a little bit about what Our Fund does and the huge impact they've had on Plays of Wilton. And hopefully, it will inspire you next Tuesday to be like Our Fund and support us for Giving Tuesday. What is Our Fund, David?
We're an LGBTQ community foundation, meaning that we exist to talk to people about their wills and estates and how they would like to carry on the values by which they live their lives when they're no longer here. So, after people die, what's in their wills and estates, and how can we make sure that it supports the community that they love while they were alive?
And then you take the money and you distribute it to nonprofits all around.
Exactly. We distribute it however they want us to distribute it. Some people are very specific and say we want it to go to an agency, such as Plays of Wilton. Some people say they want it to go to arts and culture, in which case you, Plays of Wilton, would be able to apply for a grant as you do now. Some people are even more general and say we want to leave it to the Our Fund Foundation so that you can determine what the greatest needs are of the community in decades and generations to come.
Why do you think giving is so important?
I think it's important to give back. I love the phrase that, our fund exists so that those who have done well can do good. And a lot of people have been so successful in their life, they have more than enough money to live really luxurious lives. I mean, look at how we live in South Florida, how especially the LGBTQ community and the people who we see in your audience live. And it's so easy to give back and it feels good. There's no one who's ever written a check to a nonprofit who's regretted it. Time somebody supports a nonprofit, they feel good about themselves, they feel good about the cause they're supporting, they feel good about the impact that agency is making every single time. No one ever walks out of the Our Fund Foundation office after they've determined that they're going to trust us with the money in their will as their estate. No one ever regrets it. Every single person who walks out, it's a relief. They've wondered their whole lives, what are they going to leave behind? And how are they going to organize that? And the Our Fund Foundation exists to make that a really easy process for them.
And I think people don't realize that every donation makes an impact.
Every donation.
We got a donation for $10 from a 10-year-old girl, and I made a video of it, and we got 1,000 views, and we're like, oh my God, I was crying, and that inspires other people to give more. I think that's a big part of it. When you gave us the first time, when Our Fund showed the world, showed the community that you believed in us, other people started donating because they also said, well, if Our Fund is going to support them, I'm going to support them.
Right.
So it really becomes this like, I don't know the word, but it becomes a ripple effect.
Right. When I was at the Stonewall National Museum and Archives as the executive director, and I know this is a big number, $27,000, but that's what someone left behind when they died, $27,000. They left it to Stonewall, and it made the difference between that organization being here today and not being here. That's how on the ropes that organization was. They couldn't make payroll, they couldn't pay their rent. That $27,000 was a lifeline, and now look at how that organization flourishes. And I just say that because I know $27,000 for a lot of people might seem like, how did $27,000 make that big of a difference? You know better than anyone. It made a huge difference.
Absolutely, and every dollar. Some people have said to me recently, because we've gotten some very generous big donations, and they said, "Oh well, I have a check for you, but it's only $500." It's not. I said it's not only $500. It's that $500 is a lot of money because it's so expensive to produce theater.
It takes a lot of $50 checks to get to 10,000, but you need those $50 checks to get to 10,000.
That's right. And would you be willing to talk a little bit why you have supported specifically Plays of Wilton and why you believe other people should support Plays?
So, our fund exists to make South Florida the most livable place in the country for LGBTQ people. We say that all the time. And every time I come into Plays of Wilton, I think here's this at work, right? I mean, you fill an audience with people who are enjoying themselves. It makes the quality of life so much better in South Florida. A lot of people move here. I moved here from Washington, D.C. People move from the East Coast and they think this is going to be a cultural wasteland. And it's not. There's so much great theater between what you're producing, Island City Stage, Plays of Wilton, Thinking Cap Theater, Lesbian Thespians. I mean, there is so much for us to choose from as LGBTQ folks. In terms of arts and culture, the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. I mean, we have so many options, all of which are supported by the Our Fund Foundation.
Amazing. Thank you for the amazing work you do.
Thanks.
Please consider supporting us on Giving Tuesday, next Tuesday the 28th. And David Jobin.
Any amount.
Any amount. And David Jobin, thank you for giving us your time today.
Thanks for doing your good work.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.